Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit more of a different video to what I usually do, and please keep in mind when watching this, like, I am not a very confrontational person at all. I like to be friends with everyone. I don't like to make too many rash statements, I guess. Like, it's just really not in my nature, but there's been one particular thing that's really annoyed me that I really need to get off my chest, actually, and it's probably been something that's been really frustrating for me to see ever since I started photography. So it's been going on for as long as I can remember, so well over 10 years. So this has a lot to do with photography, obviously, and it's to do with people in particular who tend to be quite harsh in the way that they speak to other photographers, in the way that they critique their work. And I'm not really talking about constructive criticism here. In fact, it's not constructive at all. It's just criticism, and it's criticism at its lowest point, I feel, within photography, and it belongs to kind of like a select group of people. And I don't like to make generalizations when I'm talking about anything really, and I don't like to create categories, but I feel like a lot of the time with photography, there's a lot of people who enjoy the technical side of photography, and then there's a lot of people that enjoy the creative side of photography, and I think a lot of the time there's people that will fall into, you know, either one of those categories. And I'm not saying that you can't be both, because I know plenty of people that enjoy the technical and creative side of photography, and that it definitely crosses over. Personally, for me, I am not a technical photographer. I don't really have a lot of technical knowledge about cameras or lenses, and I don't really base a lot of my videos around that, because I know I wouldn't really be giving probably accurate information in that sense. But at the same time, I feel like I know the basics of technical photography and how to use my camera, and I feel like I'm definitely more one of those creative photographers, and I like to sort of stick to that side of things. Now, I don't see anything wrong with being a technical photographer. I think it's great that people can know that much about equipment with photography and lenses and cameras, and I really admire people that know that much, because personally I don't really know that stuff, and it boggles my mind to know that people know so in depth how to use certain things on their cameras, and to you know, find out the technicalities of everything, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I do admire that, I really do. And I find that there is a particular group of people, this is what my rant's going to be about, and they are generally technical photographers. And when I say technical photographers, I don't really mean technical photographers, I just mean jerks, basically, because that's what they are. And they love to comment on other people's work, or they love to confront people on the fact that they're not doing photography right. They're not using the right lenses for certain things. They're not using their camera right. They're not taking photos in the correct composition. They're not doing things to the rules, basically. And I really just have one thing to say to those types of people, and it's honestly like, just stop, please. When you do that sort of thing, when you comment on people's work like that, you look like a fool. So just, you know, like, no one wants to see that on their work. No one wants to be told that they're doing photography wrong. No one wants to be told that, like, they shouldn't be taking photos of certain things because in a certain way, or like in a certain composition, or they're not using Photoshop right, they're not using the right colors, they're not using the right tools. Personally, I think photography can be done however you want. I don't think there are any rules to photography. There are guidelines. Guidelines are great. So, you know, yes, lenses might be best for getting a, you know, depending on what sort of angle you would like. If you're doing landscape photography, for example, and you need to get a lot of things in the shot, okay, wide angle lens is going to be great for that, and that's kind of like the guideline. Does that mean that I only can use a wide angle lens for landscape photography? No, it doesn't. And this is what I can't understand with a lot of these people that call themselves photographers, is that they have no concept of going outside of the box. They have no concept of trying new things, and they have one way of thinking, and I think that's not a great way to look at photography. I think with photography there shouldn't be too many rules. Of course, like I said, there are ways to do things that are going to be probably a little bit more helpful, a little bit more beneficial, and I think that's where constructive criticism comes in. Constructive criticism is great because it helps you grow as a photographer, and I think there's nothing wrong with, especially if it's asked for, commenting on someone's photo and saying, hey, like, you know, great attempt, you know, or great photo, but maybe next time you could consider using this lens, or you could consider possibly using this technique in Photoshop, and that'll give you like a really cool effect. And there's nothing wrong with saying things like that, but when it comes to the fact that it's not being constructive anymore, and it's just literally saying to a person, you're using the wrong lens, or you're using your camera wrong, you're standing wrong, you're holding it wrong. How is that constructive? I don't understand. I've never understood this. And like I said, this has been going on. There has been this group of people there for a very long time, and I almost think it's down to jealousy. I think these people are getting really jealous that maybe people in the more creative field that don't know so much about photography technically are doing well, and their work is becoming popular. And I think these people get jealous because they don't have that creative element to their work, or they don't want to think outside the box. They want to stick to the rules of photography. You know, it's 2017 now. Like, we're not constrained to any guidelines. We can do what we want with photography. And I don't think there should be so many rules based around it. And that's not to say that every technical photographer thinks this way, because they don't. And I know plenty of technical photographers that have amazing stuff, like amazing photos, and I just feel like this select group of people that really just gives a bad name to photography are always the ones that don't really have much to show for themselves. They don't have much work to show for themselves. And that's when you sort of have to look at it and go, okay, well, where's your work? If you can constantly criticize my work on how I'm doing photography wrong, then please show me your work, because I haven't seen it. And I think it has a lot to do with being on the internet. And of course, since the dawn of the internet, there's always going to be those people that want to sit behind their screens and be a keyboard warrior, or be someone that's going to be, you know, horrible to you and whatever. It's basically just being a troll, which I'm not essentially trying to feed the trolls here. I'm just honestly saying to that select group of people, just stop. No one wants to hear what you have to say when it's going to be horrible and it's not going to be constructive. And I've just gotten to the point with it over 10 years or so where I really feel like this needs to be said. And all I would say to these people now is, I would really recommend thinking outside of the box and maybe not sticking to the rules all the time. And I feel like there's a lot more to photography than just knowing how to use your camera the right way, to use your lenses the right way. What is the right way? Like, is there really a right way to use everything? You know, like I said, there's guidelines. The guidelines are there for a reason. That's great. But, you know, rules are meant to be broken with photography. And I just feel like maybe those people should maybe try something new, I think, with their work, instead of just focusing on the technical element all the time. I'm really sorry if this video has offended anyone in particular. It's not meant to offend anyone. It's just really speaking to that particular group of people that feel the need to comment on other people's work. And I mean, like I said, it doesn't bother me so much, like getting those comments on my channel, because, you know, I get them all the time. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I pretty much laugh about it now. But seeing people just starting out with their photography and seeing those kinds of nasty comments on their work, that really annoys me. That annoys me to the point, because I remember when I first started off and my confidence was not at a high point, and it's not when you first start out. You're really scared to show your work, and getting comments like that is not going to make it any better. So I'd say to people just starting out that have got those comments, just ignore it. Just really ignore it. If it's constructive criticism, then that's great. But honestly, if it's not, and you believe that it's not, just ignore it. That's the only way you can go about it, really, and take the high ground. Anyway, guys, that's the end of my rant. I don't have any rant videos on my channel, and I probably never will have another one. By probably, I mean, you know, just depending. But like, I don't usually do these kinds of videos, but this particular video, I just really wanted to say what I thought in regards to this topic. And really, guys, I hope when you're talking to other photographers and people that are just starting out, like, I think there's such a thing as being kind to people, and giving them constructive criticism and making sure it is constructive and just not being nasty. Like, that's all this video is about. And I really hope to do more videos soon, so I will hopefully be posting a little bit more in the coming weeks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.